So you're aiming for a career in Jammu and Kashmir's finance department? Well, you've come to the right place. We're about to break down one of the biggest recruitment drives of the year, the Jkssb Accounts Assistant post. Think of this as your personal roadmap to getting the job.
Let's just start with the number that really matters here, 600. That's right, 600 new vacancies for accounts assistants are opening up. Look, this isn't just another job posting. It's a massive opportunity for you to build a stable, rewarding career right inside the J&K administration.
So, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the opportunity itself, then talk about the two different career paths you can take. We'll check if you're eligible, decode the exam, look at the salary and perks, and finally, talk about how you can start preparing right now. Ready? Let's get into it.
First things first, the 2025 finance opportunity. Let's get a really clear picture of the essential details of what's actually on the table here.
All right, here are the nuts and bolts. The role is accounts assistant in the finance department. It's a level 5 post, which comes with a really competitive salary. And as we said, there are 600 spots open. The selection process is pretty straightforward. You pass the written test, then you move on to document verification. And the one date you need to circle on your calendar right now, your application has to be in by January 13th, 2026. Okay. Next up, let's clear up something that confuses a lot of people. You see, there are actually two different kinds of accounts assistant jobs in the J&K system, and you've got to know the difference. It's pretty crucial. And the difference is pretty stark when you look at it side by side. The Finance Accounts Assistant, or FAA, that's the one we're focused on, is a union territory level post. This means you could be working anywhere in J&K in high-level places like treasuries, managing the big picture finances. But the Panchayat Accounts Assistant, the PA, that's a district-level job. They work right at the village level. They're the first signatory on local funds. So you see, this isn't just about where you work. It's a choice between a career in macro-level finance versus one with a direct grassroots impact.
All right, so you're interested. The next step is to see if you can get through the three main gates to even be considered. We're talking domicile, age, and education. Let's find out if you qualify.
Before we dive into all the specifics, this is the big question you've got to answer for yourself. So let's figure out if this opportunity is the right one for you.
Okay, first and foremost, this one is non-negotiable. You absolutely must be a domicile of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. And, just as important, your certificate has to be valid and issued on or before that application deadline of January 13th, 2026. No exceptions.
The second gate is age, and the magic date they use for calculation is January 1st, 2025. For the open merit category, the cutoff is 40 years old. But there's good news for other categories. The age limit gets bumped to 43 for SC, ST, and RBA, 42 for persons with disabilities, and it goes all the way up to 48 for ex-servicemen. Just check that not born before column to be sure.
And the final gate is education. You need a graduation degree, and it can be in any stream, which is great. Now, for open merit, you need at least 50% marks. For reserved categories, it's 45%. But here's a really important special provision. If you have a postgraduate degree with 50% marks or a PhD, you are still eligible, even if your graduation score was a little lower. That's a key detail.
Okay, so you've made it through all the eligibility checks. Awesome. Now comes the main event, the biggest challenge, the written test. Let's decode exactly what you're up against.
Pay close attention here, because this slide is probably the most important one for planning your study time. Just look at this breakdown. General knowledge about J&K, accountancy, and computer applications. Each one is worth 30 marks. Add those up, and what do you get? 90 out of 120 marks. That's a whopping 75% of your entire score, all from just 3 subjects. This is huge. It tells you exactly where to focus your energy.
So, what are the rules of the game? Well, think of it as a race against the clock. You've got 120 questions to answer in 120 minutes. That's a tight 1 minute per question, so there's no time to waste. You get 1 mark for every right answer, but you got to be careful because for every wrong answer, you lose a quarter of a mark. That negative marking means being accurate is just as important as being fast. So, let's say you've passed the test, you've made the list. What's the reward at the end of this journey? Let's talk about the good stuff, the salary, the perks, and where this career can actually take you.
It all kicks off with this number right here, 29,200 rupees. That's your starting basic pay in the level 5 scale. But, and this is important, that's just the beginning.
See, on top of that basic pay, you start adding on all the allowances, DA, HRA, and so on. When you put it all together, your gross monthly salary comes out to around 34,500 rupees. So what does that mean for your bank account?
Well, you can expect to take home somewhere between 32,000 and 34,000 rupees every month.
But let's be real, a government job like this is about so much more than the paycheck, right? It's about security, stability, and a real career path. You've got a clear line of promotion up to accountant, senior accountant, and even accounts officer. And hey, here's a pro tip for you. If you want to climb that ladder even faster, you'll want to look into clearing the departmental SAC exams. They can really speed things up.
All right, we've laid it all out for you. The opportunity, the rules, the test, and the rewards. Now, let's bring it all home and talk about what it really takes to get your name on that final list and when you need to act.
If you really want to know what you're up against, just take a look at these scores from the last merit list. The top candidates were pulling in over 102 marks out of 120. Now, I'm not showing you this to intimidate you. I'm showing you this so you know exactly what the bar for success looks like. It's high, for sure, but it's absolutely achievable with dedicated preparation.
Okay, get your calendars ready because you need to mark these dates down right now. Applications open December 8th, 2025. They close on January 13th, 2026. And remember, that closing date is critical. It's not just the deadline to apply, it's the cutoff for all your eligibility documents to be valid. The exam itself is tentatively set for June 2026, which gives you a good solid runway to prepare. You know, this quote really hits the nail on the head. We've just spent the last few minutes gathering all this knowledge, but that's only half the battle. The real value, the real progress, comes when you start putting it all into practice.
So we're at the end of our roadmap, and it all comes down to this one simple question. There are 600 opportunities on the table, 600 chances to build an amazing career. The only thing left to figure out is what are you going to do starting today to make sure one of those spots is yours. Your journey starts now.